Hello everybody and welcome to a episode of Monday Night Raw. We are going to go over the highlights for July 21st, 2025. We start off with CM Punk making his entrance and getting on the mic. He tells Houston he's happy to be here and it's lovely to see them all. And when he came back, he had a couple of goals. Main event WrestleMania? Check. And become WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He's done one of those. Sometimes there's a lot of distractions around here, but those are all gone and now he can focus on the world title. Last week he won a gauntlet match and now he can challenge Gunther, who is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He looks very forward to lacing him up and locking up with him, and he can't promise a win, but with the crowd behind him cheering and hand it to the screen, if you're watching at home and you're going to be at SummerSlam, he will leave it all in the ring. He will not quit, and he will give everything he's got. He sees Gunther and sees a man with a record-breaking Intercontinental Championship reign, and in his second World Heavyweight Championship reign, and he was worried, but then he remembered he's got this. He's prepared. He's CM Punk. He's not any other wrestler, any other challenge. He is the best in the world. Enter Gunther. He gets in the ring and squares up with Punk, who does not shy away from the challenge. Face to face, the ring general is the first to break, and he takes a few steps back under CM Punk's withering gaze before raising the microphone to his mouth. Boos rain down and the champion goes back and forward slightly for a beat before speaking out. He said he's very excited to hear "You tapped out" chants rain down, and he decides to cut to the chase. He didn't come out here to throw insults or create drama. He points out that they're both here not to make friends, but to make money and win championships. They both consider themselves the best in the world. Punk has a massive ego, and the people chanted for him for 10 years. He doesn't blame them for it, but unlike him, Gunther's own massive ego is based not on the crowd, but on his results. Punk listed out all the accolades for him and says it's very simple. The best in the world is the man who holds the world championship. And at SummerSlam, the bell will ring, and he'll make CM Punk regret that he ever stepped foot into a pro wrestling ring. He's gonna push him around, choke him out, drop him like a wet towel, and make him realize he'll never be a world champion again. But hey, at least he's got these fans chanting at him for the rest of his life. The ring general drops the mic and walks off. We then have our first match of the evening, Rusev versus Sheamus. Sheamus with a Brogue kick out of the gates, but Rusev bails to the floor, brawling through each other into the barricade and the apron, back inside. The Celtic Warrior rolls away from a elbow drop, but with a flash kick catches him, and the Redeemer follows it with a straight suplex and a second suplex in the cover for 1. Sheamus comes back with right hands. The white noise was blocked. Shifting gears, a Finley roll connects off the ropes and a big knee drop. A cover for another 1 count. Trading right hooks, the Celtic Warrior with the advantage. A whip released, big lariat connects, and Rusev poses for the crowd. Elbows to the kidneys. Fired up, Sheamus returns a big lariat and takes him off his feet. To the floor, the Celtic Warrior perches up top, slips down, back up again, a diving lariat to the floor, and Sheamus is fired up. A whipped reversed, a Rusev follow-away slam over the announce desk hard. An Irish curse connects. Sheamus is fired up. 1, 2, kick out. Out to the apron. The beats of the Badron ensue. Brogue kick. Countered right into a release powerbomb for a 2 count. Tuning up the band. Charging in, the Celtic Warrior blasts him with a knee lift. Another pin. Nope. Up in the turnbuckles. Rusev with machine gun chops. Up top with him jockeying for position. Sheamus clubs him to the mat. Perching, he dives straight into a Machka kick from Rusev, but somehow finds the will to kick out at 2 at the very last second. Rusev turns him over into the Accolade and wrenches it in. Sheamus reaches, clawing desperate, inch by straining inch, and he gets the break, reaching the ropes. Rusev slaps the back of his head in frustration. He puts boots into Sheamus, but Sheamus just wants more. Rusev continues, stomps, and chokes in the bottom rope. He takes the turnbuckle cover off, drags Sheamus over. Sheamus counters Rusev's attempt at putting his face into the turnbuckle, and Sheamus bounces Rusev's face into the turnbuckle. Rusev grabs the shillelagh, a Brogue kick, right as Rusev picked up the shillelagh, and Sheamus pins him 1, 2, 3. Sheamus finally beat Rusev in singles action with the Brogue kick. Next we have the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius Creed, versus Latino World Order, Cruz, Del Toro, and Joaquin Wilde, versus New Day's Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. The winner gets a WWE World Tag Team shot. This is a #1 contenders match. Brutus, Kingston, and Wilde to start. Creed sends Kofi packing. A tag to Julius. Kofi slides back in, double suplex, a big boot for a 1 count on Joaquin. Woods in a DDT and a Fargo strut. A super kick sends Julius into the corner, and we get a unicorn stampede with quick tags, the New Day tagging each other in. Del Toro lands a poison Frankensteiner on Brutus. Crawling tag to Julius, a tag to Wilde. Joaquin bowls him over, a super kick on Woods, a tornado DDT on Creed, a snap DDT on Brutus. Fired up, going up top, but Ivy Nile shoves him to the floor. Dragon Lee checking on his teammate Julius, pie faces him, but dragging super kicks him. A back body drop puts Brutus on the apron, and he super kicks him while he's mid-headstand. El Grande Americano attacks Dragon Lee, and the Creeds pull him off of him. Cruz Del Toro wipes them all out, and hits a folding press onto Kofi Kingston and wins 1, 2, 3 in Latino World Order are the #1 contenders to the World Tag Team Championships. Backstage, we have Adam Pearce talking to the Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio and tells him to quit stalling. He's not cleared yet, but he should be, and he should be fighting AJ Styles. Dom turns around to see AJ working as a janitor and begs off, saying he's still not cleared. Styles tells him to get cleared and mops some, running into the New Day. They freak out about everything going wrong and the simulation being broken, and they need an edge. Grayson Waller rolls up and says Austin Theory is hurt. A-Town Down Under is over and he's their ace in the hole. They're skeptical, but he goes and gets their car anyways. Next we have the next segment, Becky Lynch talking to Lyra Valkyria. Becky Lynch, the Women's Intercontinental Champion, makes her entrance on the mic. She gets mad at the crowd for booing her and demands some appreciation on her name. She shouldn't even be here tonight. She should be in New York for the premiere of her new movie Happy Gilmore 2, which comes out Friday on Netflix. But instead she's in Houston, Texas, but that's what leaders do, and she has important business. At Evolution, she had the slickest win of all time. That's what people are saying, and she held people's down. But at least she's honest about it, unlike Lyra Valkyria, who spent months crying that she's a thief of opportunities. But what is she doing now? She's trying to get WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship matches, and now she's got a tag title match? Who needs 2 belts anyways? No. When she did it, it was groundbreaking. But Valkyria is just being selfish. That ends now, she says, and she calls Lyra Valkyria down. Enter Lyra Valkyria. Becky says they're 1-for-1 in singles competition. They've got 1 win apiece, and she's brought out the best in her and made her a star. But the free ride ends with the 3rd match, the trilogy at SummerSlam, and she wants Lyra to accept a stipulation that if she loses at SummerSlam, she'll never get to challenge Becky for the Women's Intercontinental Championship again. Valkyria says she's thinking maybe her problem is that she never takes things far enough. So she accepts Lynch's stipulation if she accepts hers. No countout, no disqualification, there must be a winner. Becky accepts. Lyra says she'll see her at SummerSlam, and Lynch complains that she's been disrespected for months and she won't have this match disrespected any further. She once again says she's gonna be the bigger person and asks Lyra to shake her hand. It's a trap, of course, but Valkyria ducks the cheap shot and hits a manhandle slam onto Becky Lynch and holds the title over her head. Next we have Bayley and Lyra Valkyria versus Judgment Day's Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. We start off the match with Bayley getting a near fall on Perez, and Roxanne immediately tags out to Rodriguez. Bayley, feeling out, keeping her distance, crawl under hair pull, tag to Valkyria. Raquel overwhelms Bayley, throws Perez into her for a 2 count. Quick tag from the champs. Bayley tags Lyra into rather better results this time. A kick combo on Rodriguez, a cartwheel away, and Seguri Las Casadora countered into a wheelbarrow. A hot shot, and Perez snaps Valkyria's arm over the ropes so Raquel can land a lariat. Perez with a springboard moonsault on Valkyria for a 2 count. Pie facing her repeatedly, a big overhand chop, mocking her wanting the tag. Dropping a knee to her arm, mat slam tag made, and Raquel Rodriguez lands her elbow drop. A Vader bomb and tags Roxanne back in to block the tag, but she can't. Bayley comes in off the hot tag, throwing Perez around. Elbows in the corner, block a boot, hang her in the ropes, drop a knee to the midsection, charging in, a sunset flip powerbomb in the corner. Cover, 1, 2, kick out. Roxanne sidesteps the charge. Rodriguez with a cheap shot and the tag. Tag back to Perez, a slingshot jackhammer is a little shaky, but it connects. A giant step double jump moonsault, but her knees were up. Bayley passes Raquel to the floor, a knee trembler. So close to winning the match, but no. A tag to Lyra. Shadows over, hell guillotine leg drop, and another cover for 2, while Bayley and Raquel brawl on the floor looking for a fisherman buster. Raquel Rodriguez counters into the corner, setting Valkyria up top, jockeying for position. A Liger bomb out of the corner and the tag to Bayley. Off the top, a diving elbow from Bayley to Perez. Raquel Rodriguez breaks it up. A rocket launcher of sorts. Bayley draws Roxanne up, but Dominic Mysterio runs interference. Handful of tights, but Bayley kicks out. A knee connects, both women are down. Lyra gets in Dom's face and Raquel fires a kick. Valkyria ducks and Rodriguez takes Dominic Mysterio out with a big boot. Lyra blasts her with a drop kick through the ropes. Bayley ducks a lariat. A spin out collision in the middle of the ring and both women are down. AJ Styles poses as a medic and gives Dominic CPR. Lynch runs in and pulls Lyra off the apron and throws her into the steel steps. Bayley has nobody to tag. Perez from behind, O'Connor roll. She kicks out. A schoolboy, still no. Roxanne lands on her feet. A suplex, a black tag, belly to belly, takes her out, but Raquel Rodriguez is ready. Raquel hits the Tejada bomb onto Bayley and pins her. 1, 2, 3. And your winners, and still the women's tag team champions, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. The Judgment Day. Next we have Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. Feeling out, Kross with a shoulder block into the corner, targeting the injured ribs. Zayn wades in with chops. A vertical suplex whipped reverse, and Karrion lays him out with an elbow before going down for grounded punches. A whip to the corner hard. Sami bounces off the buckles in agony. Kross gets him back up, big chops him in the corner. Zayn turns it around for mounted punches into the turnbuckle. A whip across a charging elbow sends Karrion to the floor. Sami lines him up. An Arabian press moonsault connects and he throws the fingers up for Sabu. Karrion back inside. Scarlett with a cheap shot kick to Zayn's ribs. Kross whip to the corner. A lariat and a rolling elbow exploder suplex connects. A whip across leapfrog. A big lariat from Zayn and he's fighting back into it. A back elbow, big boot, duck under knuckle lock chop. A step up tornado DDT. Kross kicks out at 2. Karrion rams him into the corner. Shoulder blocks him, hammering the injured ribs with an overhand punch. Setting Sami up top, climbing to join him. Sami with a beautiful sunset flip powerbomb out of the turnbuckles. He goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out. Scarlett tries to give Karrion Kross the steel pipe. A Sami exploder suplex into the corner. Scarlett passes him the pipe. He's fired up for the kick, but Scarlett distracts the referee so Karrion can nail Sami with the pipe. Karrion Kross pins Sami after the pipe hits his injured ribs. 1, 2, 3. And your winner of the match is Karrion Kross. Scarlett raises Karrion's hand as blood pours from his nose. Outside the trainer's office, AJ Styles and Adam Pearce are waiting for the medic's decision on Dom. Before the trainer can give an answer, the Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio blindsides Styles from behind and hits him with the title and says he'll see him at SummerSlam. Next we have a dream match of sorts. Iyo Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. Circling collar and elbows, Sky with a waistlock. Vaquer counters to a waistlock of her own. A roll through, Stephanie lets go and lets her roll a little bit. Back to the lockup, a headlock takeover countered with a head scissors. The same sequence in the other direction. A stalemate, all smiles, a friendly competition, test of strength. Valkyria steps on her hands and takes control, shifting to a standing surfboard. Reverse to a Japanese stranglehold. Iyo reverses to one of her own. Stephanie back to her feet, back to the test of strength. Valkyria bends her down and tries to break her bridge, but Sky counters with a monkey flip. A double pin, back to the Japanese stranglehold from Valkyria. Iyo slings her off and a victory roll, and a counter, and a cover for a 2 count. A heel trip from Sky. Stomp the right hand in a La Castera for a 2 count. A bridging victory roll from Stephanie. A cover for another 2 count. To the floor. Iyo with a suicide dive. A moonsault was dodged. Valkyrie with a super kick and then a plancha to send us to commercial. Back from commercial, a butterfly code breaker from Valkyrie. So close to winning. Sky catches her down into a arm trap crossface, wrenching it in. Stephanie, crawling, reaching, she forces the break to the floor. Iyo follows with a moonsault, perching up top. A missile dropkick connects. A kip up and Sky is fired up. A wheelbarrow takedown into a double stomp. Vaquer fires back a German suplex. Charging in, Iyo gets a German suplex of her own, and both women are down and out to the apron. Vaquer drops a knee across her own and follows it up with the Devil's Kiss. Back inside, more Devil's Kiss. The SBB countered with a facebuster and a cover for a 2 count. A buzzsaw roundhouse kick from Sky. Corner knees up top and jockeying for position. A inverted superplex plants Iyo on her head. Both women are down and out when the Secret Harvests make their way to ringside. Valkyria fights them off, but Chelsea Green attacks her from behind to force the disqualification. And Stephanie Valkyria wins the match by disqualification. Post-match, Stephanie and Iyo Sky run Green and her Secret Service off and stand tall together until the Women's World Champion Naomi attacks Iyo from behind, shoving her into Stephanie, and Valkyria falls to the Secret Harvest's tender mercenaries. Naomi with mounted punches on Iyo until you hear the theme music, This Is My Brutality. Rhea Ripley makes the save. She cleans out Alba Fire and Piper Niven before taking it to Naomi and dropping her with a back suplex facebuster. Chelsea Green is alone in the ring, surrounded by Rhea, Iyo, and Valkyria. A super kick, buzzsaw kick, pump handle into a riptide. And that's how the segment ends, with Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Valkyria, and Iyo Sky, the babyfaces, standing tall. Next we have the final segment for this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Paul Heyman makes his entrance, accompanied by Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Bronson Reed is holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. Heyman says before Roman Reigns, the OTC, makes his way out to the ring, he's got a lot of things to get off his chest. So of course, the OTC immediately makes his entrance. Paul Heyman says he never wants to be disrespected or rude, but the crowd is off to a bad start with him tonight. He apologizes to Roman, and they rain some disrespectful chants down onto Paul Heyman. To Reigns' gentle laughter. Heyman continues, or tries to, but he gets cut off by the rowdy crowd with some OTC chants, which makes Roman smile. Heyman says he doesn't ever want to be or seem like he's being disrespectful or rude. You know, like someone born in Texas. But just so Roman knows, Seth Rollins, injury update here, is gonna be out of action for a long time. And that opens up a leadership void over here, which means that if you think about it, they could fix this, the two of them. They could put this back together, and look who and what comes along with them. He says Reigns knows deep in his heart that they're far better off together than opposing each other. Roman gives a little nod, and Paul says they'll always be family, and he loves this tribal chief. At last, Roman Reigns takes the microphone away from WWE Hall of Famer Paul Heyman, and he says he wants to put that on pause until Houston acknowledges him. Heyman throws his one up and Roman gets that come on expression. He always does, and says that a few years ago he would have said Heyman asking him to leave was wise words from a wise man, but he's not a wise man anymore. He's just dumb. Bronson and Paul have to hold Braun Breaker back, and Reigns tells him to listen up and sit under the learning tree, Junior. Write this down because Heyman is going to do the same thing to him he did to Roman. A few years from now, when Breaker is the main around here, Paul is going to try and to take credit for him, same as he did taking credit for creating the tribal chief. But he can tell you firmly it wasn't Paul Heyman, and the only reason he's the tribal chief is because the fans acknowledge him. He says he was the greatest champion to ever set foot in this ring, and Paul had a part of it, but he didn't have a part of in him keeping the title. No, the Usos did, Solo Sikoa did, even Sami Zayn helped out. He lost that title after 4 years. And then Paul told everybody he tucked his tail to do whatever, but no, he went home to raise the future bloodline. That brings him to family, and that's all the bloodline is family. The dummy here thought they were another faction, another wrestling group. He can make those, but he couldn't make the bloodline. That's God's work. He tells Breaker he's not gonna tell him again to back up, and he continues saying none of that really bothers him. Paul was never part of this family before. He was just a business partner. But Roman made him part of the family, gave him responsibility, and he threw it all away. And for what? For his best friend he hadn't talked to in a decade? Talking about CM Punk. Nah. Don't ever come out here and say Roman ruined the bloodline. No, the dummy here did. Heyman and Reed stop holding Braun back at this point, and Paul slides a microphone into Breaker's hand. Braun tells Roman to listen, to get this through his thick skull, to look around because they don't want him here anymore. He's yesterday's news, the old dog. He was relevant 5 years ago in his prime, but now he's taken up a spot in Breaker's ring. And he knows Paul won't stab him in the back because he holds value in this place where Reigns is worthless. He's the big dog now, the top dog, the future of WWE, and the man around here now. So Reigns should do what he does best now, turn around and leave. Roman says he's gotta be honest. He didn't hear any of the trash Breaker just said, and he honestly thinks his mic isn't working. So if he needs to say it again, he should use this. Reigns tosses his microphone at Breaker and rushes in to fight and hits Breaker with a Superman punch. But the numbers game catches up to Roman, and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed attack him, and Breaker hits a spear onto the tribal chief. They get Roman into position for the tsunami, but main event Jey Uso makes the save. super kicks both of them, and then hits a splash and an enziguri onto Bronson Reed. A right hand and a hair maker for Braun, and both Roman and Jay hit stereo spears onto Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Beautiful spears, by the way. And that's how the show ends, with Roman Reigns and his cousin, Jey Uso, Mr. Main Event, Yeet Man, standing tall. Now let me know what you think of this segment. Personally, this was a very good Raw. I give it a 9 out of 10. Best Raw I've seen in a while. So don't forget to put your wands in the air for Roman and yeet for Jey Uso. Until next time, take care if you can see me. Peace.